So welcome back to WGL EU. We are into match week 8. We are into the second day of match week 8. And here comes the final game of the day. It's going to be Kazna crew up against EPS. And because of the last game we just witnessed, this is going to add a lot more pressure on Kazna.
It's going to add a lot more pressure on Kazna because they want to get top 6, but it also gives more of an opportunity to Evil Panda Squad to qualify as well, because TCM Gaming's massive crushing defeat, to be honest. Massive props to Wusa for beating TCM Gaming 5-0, one of the teams I was looking towards for a top 6 finish here. But it's on to Kazna crew right now. I mean, as a start of the season team, I thought they would be doing a lot better than they are now. They picked up Ruster, one of the best players from C-Play, now known as WSD Gaming. But what's happened is that WSD Gaming has gone up and Kazna crew has gone down. But I still see like moments of brilliance from Kazna crew, and it kind of makes me question if Kazna's like doing a lot of training, or if they're kind of being a little bit lax and playing bare minimum to get through these games. But still, they should be doing better than Evil Panda Squad. And the first map's going to be Ruinberg, and EPS's choice is Ruinberg, so they'll be on the defensive side. Yeah,
this is going to be a good one to watch. And if you were a betting man, let's say, where's your money going to go on this one? Because there's an easy answer to that, and then there's maybe the slightly harder but more logical recently off a performance answer, I guess.
Well, a betting man would go for Kazna crew, but V-Pro beat Kazna 5-1. They weren't the most close games ever, and EPS is coming off a win against TCM 5-1 as well. So TCM 2 losses in a row, 2 big losses in a row. And EPS looking a lot better in that second round than we've seen them before. In that game than we've seen them before. So EPS are certainly on their way up. Kazna crew are not on the way down because they've played against V-Pro, and it's not a big deal. And I think a lot of people are used to losing against V-Pro these days.
Yeah,
so they're not going to
how badly do we lose?
They're not going to be like, oh no, we lost it. When you're calculating who you can win and who you'll lose against in the beginning of the season, V-Pro is one of those teams where you say, there's more often than not when they're actually going to be able to lose against them. So it's going to be an interesting few rounds. I'm really looking towards Kazna crew. I mean, they have to start messing about. They've got 12 points.
Yeah.
EPS have only got 5 points. But Kazna, I think they'll scrape past and get to the offline finals regardless. And they need to stop messing about and actually
100%.
start stepping up to the game and take a leaf out of WSD Gaming's book, for instance.
I can't agree more. It is time to really just kind of lock everything down, knuckle down, get yourself working, because Kazna started off in that honeymoon period, didn't they? They had that great run where everything seemed to go well, this great new lineup, everything looks good, and then they just slowed down. Everything came into a bit of a halt. And we're hoping they can rebound from that, because they really do need to. And Melly, obviously Kazna have a lot of fans out there, but as do EPS, so there's a lot on the line for these two. Where do you think people are going to vote, and how can they do so?
Well, voting happens on facebook.com/WGLEU. You can see a posting on our timeline and also team vote button right above the timeline. Simply click either one of them and you get forwarded to an app where you can vote for your favorite team and then just enter the exact scoreline, your predicted scoreline for this matchup. And by guessing right and being one of the first ones, you get the chance of winning one of 5 bonus codes containing 500 gold and 7 days of premium. So not too few, if you ask me. So the current standing of the vote, which will of course alternate throughout the match, throughout the first map of the match, is 89% for Kazna crew. So all you mentioned earlier, putting all the big names together works maybe in the beginning, but can backfire throughout the season. We saw that in a lot of teams, and a lot of organizations tried to form those superstar teams in either esports games, in every esport games possible. So people at home, what do you think about that? Is name hunting a proper way to win something, or does it work, doesn't it work? Just tell me by tweeting us. Use the hashtag WGLU. I have no clue what that was, but sorry, I don't know if you heard that, if it was loud enough. So as said, head over to twitter.com/WGLEU. Follow us, of course, to get live updates during the matches, and as said, share opinion on there as well by using the hashtag WGLEU.
So, a lot to be done there. Get involved. Get those predictions through to us, your thoughts. Who do you want, which way is the matchup going to go? All of that good stuff. Get involved. We want to hear from you. You guys out there love these two teams in your own very special way, whether it be you're a fan of EPS or not. So, first map, Ruinberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure?
What sort of lineups are we going to have, do you reckon?
Well, I'm expecting... Ruinberg's a little bit of a tricky one. I mean, you do have that option of, do you go for the heavier tanks or do you go for the more quick and the more lighter tanks? It looks like for at least Kazna crew will be on the attacking side first. They're going for something a little bit more heavy. Double 5100, IS3, MX-3090, T4, double Bulldog, and from EPS, a little bit light, but they got the double T69s that kind of make up for that. AMX-5100, 110, AMX-3090, 251, and finally Polsved playing that T37.
Nice lineup there overall. We'll have to wait and see if this really starts affecting the game later down the line. However, the teams seem to be ready. So let's start turning our attention to getting into game and getting this one started. Kazna have it all to do. It's down to them to show up. And same can be said for EPS here. Because into the game on the defending side, it will be Evil Panda Squad up in the northeast. But down on the west side, it's going to be Kazna crew on the attack. And how are we seeing these guys taking form?
So the fast tanks are going down south, and the main tanks are going straight through the middle. It depends what kind of presence Kazna crew can get at the beginning. Dr. Tour is obviously going to try and do as much as he can. He's playing the Bulldog, which is not really an expendable tank, so he has got to try and stay alive, and it's quite surprising for me to see him play a combat tank, as really he has been known to be more of a kind of artillery player. But Palauda's going to be playing the combat tank instead, and I guess it's because German Brait's not in here. But Cobrion getting taken down in some fashion, but Yankees will probably follow.
Yeah, indeed. And Yankees is in trouble, though. Rusta is there, just waiting on that reload to come up. And actually, Rusta taking a bit of a pounding. If Yankees can stay alive, he can't. Catch Me could have maybe bailed him out there. But now Rusta in a little bit of trouble. But Elian crossing him off, and Catch Me may have just overextended. And did he just get team killed?
He just got team killed.
Oh, Lucas, that is disastrous. However, now looking at the HP, about 500 in the hands of Kazna crew to play around with.
Great play by Rusta, because he managed to take down Yankees, and Cobrion basically has provided a wall for him now to hide behind. He's unspotted. He can reload in that AMX-3090. I'm not sure what he's going to do after that, but I'm pretty sure he's just going to provide covering fire as Hyber finally gets into this game in the IS3. Raging Potato tries to find a shell, and I'm talking about that presence, and Kazna crew do have that presence now. They've got that Eastern Cap, which is pretty much the key to success on this map. But they've got some initial damage and a couple of initial kills. Bit of a gamble from them for sure, and perhaps some missed shells from Evil Panda Squad really didn't help them in their cause. But now Kazna are off reload. Dr. Tour is going to try and rotate. He can see that with two tanks down, he has more flexibility. He can go up in the north without too many problems. He can also sit in the middle, try and get the cross shots on when Kazna do get Hyber and Vetso into a real damage-dealing position, and Raging Potato caught on the cross.
Oh, this could be trouble. Actually, Dr. Tour finds Bananek first, but Raging Potato not finding the shell to hit so far. And Dr. Tour doesn't do much damage, but it's annoying as hell. And it's got a lot, he can do it fairly sustained here. So, does receive on back, but the cap has started, and Kazna looking okay so far. Rusta a little low from that early exchange. Dr. Tour then just taking one shot from Raging Potato. But they're in such a better position here.
Yeah, they are. And, well, despite Dr. Tour actually hitting those shells against Raging Potato, clearly the frontal armor, that 110, just a little bit too much for the Bulldog to get through. And, well, I think Vetso and Palauda, those two 50-100s, are going to be the biggest damage dealers. You can see them heading forwards. They've caught Raging Potato out as he tries to try and reverse.
Yeah, Banana couldn't even find the crossfoot then, and Vetso finds Raging Potato so quickly, I almost missed his. Now, Never Give Up gets one, but it's Polsved, who might get some shells across, but no, gets caught by Rusta. Rusta in a great spot there, doesn't get the shell he wanted on towards Polsved, but Paluda will, and there we go, Rusta chimes in with one for himself, and this is a decisive move from Kazna, and it is paying dividend, and then some. Never Give Up may have a couple of shells to make it, but Elian just waiting for it to gift across, and now Never Give Up in that T69 being found on every single angle. He has no chance here but to die, and Kazna looking extraordinarily solid coming into this game, maintaining almost 4k HP between them, and they will pick up Never Give Up, and Kazna with a strong start.
Kazna showing why they're probably the best team on Ruinberg right now. I mean, they beat TCM Gaming, who are supposed to be good on Ruinberg as well. Yep. They absolutely crushed them on the attack. They're just unbelievable on this map. I'm surprised that EPS actually decided to go for it. They didn't lose. They lost 1 out of 4 rounds. They lost against V Pro. They only won one of them, so I mean, not great scoreline for them, and against Kazna crew, as I said, they were fantastic. Kind of surprising that they do go for this one, but great play by Kazna crew. Also, good play by Elian in that T54 lightweight. I mean, I've never seen that tank on this map before, but it worked. I mean, its speed and maneuverability is, I guess, why it's being used. It can go hull down, but I don't think that's why he's picked it up. And 2.5k damage by him, fantastic.
You know, we say that, you know, picking up superstars and making these superstar lineups, you know, there's that downside to it, but I think we just saw the bonus to it. It can be sometimes that you get caught out, you get beaten, but then when you have Elian doing that sort of damage, it's not a bad thing. But then, can he do that every round? Questionable. But nice start, solid performance, and they just look okay. So let's put it this way, guys at home: if you haven't been watching Ruinberg that much, if you haven't seen that much of it, the attacking side is quite difficult, and they just made it look like it's a really viable, easy side to be on. They played out the cap perfectly, started off slowly. We saw teams over investing into the cap before, putting 3 to 4 tanks in there, and then being surprised by teams who just pushed forward in that village and were able to make shots from the higher ground. However, Kazna won in the cap circle and then folded forward. It was just beautifully done, and I want to see more of that, but I can imagine they may have another trick up their sleeve. So let's look out for what they bring into round number 2. They are selecting those tanks. I can imagine they won't differ too much into this one. I can imagine there's no reason to. It worked very well for them. However, for EPS, let's say, do you think they're going to switch something up here? I don't even feel it was the tanks that held them back then.
No, it wasn't. It was just the fact that they lost those two, well, that one exchange at the beginning where it was 2 for 1 or 2 for nil even. I mean, Rusta didn't even die. It's just the overmatch by Kazna crew and towards that northern side, and perfect play by them. And Elian definitely helping out, as I said, 2.5k damage. Surprising. I mean, anyone who's played a T54 lightweight, that tank is god-awful at any kind of range. I mean, as soon as you go past 150 meters, it's possibly the worst sniper ever. Of course, looking at 9.6 in the patch notes, T54 lightweight's getting a bit of a buff in that respect. So stuff like dispersion when your turret's reversing, which makes a big deal, getting buffed. And maybe that's going to help the teams that are using the T54 lightweight a lot. And they can see some good results coming their way. Of course, if you guys want to head over to World of Tanks, you can find the patch notes for 9.6. Big changes in terms of esports. I mean, T71 could come into the game as a Bulldog gets nerfed, but anyway, again, the same start from Kazna crew, looking like they want to do the same again. This time, do catch me on the side for a good amount of damage via Hyber.
Terrible name to have when you get caught out in those positions very early on, and Dr. Toya, a little bit confused where that shell came from. Then gonna try and find some comfort maybe, but I do like this early challenge and the early aggression from Kazna, putting players up to maybe try and peek out, but Yankees could be caught off guard by Rusta here. Maybe not spot him out so early on. Cobra Leone does get spotted, but Rusta receives 2, receives 3. This could go very differently from the start here. Finally, Yankees comes in towards Rusta, picks it up, but can they follow through now? Catch Me Yankees doing the damage, and Cobra Leone goes down. This is a perfect beginning for EPS, even though the HP is still quite close.
The thing is, EPS basically put more resources to deal with that flank, but now Kazna can actually go into the city a lot more easily because Evil Panda Squad had to peak so much. So this could actually go badly still for Evil Panda Squad. Elian will probably be able to deal with Catch Me at least, maybe even find Yankees a little bit later on, and so those 5100 start to do some damage against EPS in that city.
That's the big thing, the city. That's where the overmatch and the slight advantage for Kazna will be. As you said, putting resources down towards that southeast side for Evil Panda Squad means that they will be lighter in the city, and we're seeing in effect now Kazna take advantage with HP. Elian in that T54, sorry, moving into position, and Yankees, I don't think he's got a shot in this. Elian just waiting for it, and this guy missing a shot. A little rare then.
Yeah, he's just predicting that Yankees won't have reload, but M41 doing some damage. Probably will hit this one, will find him, but still a little bit of damage done to him. But this Kazna crew look like they're cleaning up in the village.
They certainly are. 2.5k damage up against 1.1. They should have the advantage here, but Dr. Toya going down means it's very close, but Hyber finds one back towards Raging Potato, leaving Just Never Give Up and Pulseved alive, and Kazna should be able to close this out. However, it could change. It's not beyond the realm of possibility, but Never Give Up not quite having all shells available here, gets damage from the back, damage from the front, and I think he knows that it's time to give up here because he's left on such minimal HP, down to 74. A ram will take him out, pretty much a strong breeze might as well, but Hyber Shell will be more than enough. Delivers it, and Paluda finds Pulseved, giving Kazna a second round now. And just reading the situation perfectly, I think you summed it up with, okay, yes, let's put it this way, EPS may win that southern push by putting more resources there, but Kazna instantly knew, well, it's time to challenge that city a little earlier on, put up pressure there.
Exactly, perfect prediction. I mean, it's so rare to see a team do the same thing twice, but having two iterations of the same tactic, it's really a rarity, guys. I mean, I haven't really seen that much before, and it clearly shows that Kazna crew have trained and they know what the kind of teams do. I mean, clearly they've been training, they've been saying, okay, sometimes we win that engagement up north and we can do X. Sometimes we lose it and then we have to do Y. And then the Y was basically Plowder and Vetso in those two 5100s, putting their presence up into the eastern side of that village a little bit more early on. And then they could challenge those peaking tanks that were basically trying to get the shots down towards Ruster, Elian, and who was the last one? I think it was Cobra Leone.
Yeah, Cobra Leone was there. Yeah.
So yeah, it just went really well for them. And then, some of the shells made by EPS from those T69s and 5100s, they had to go and reload also the AMX 1390s. It was just a logical thing from Kazan. Absolutely fantastic. 2-0 scoreline on the attacking side on Ruinberg. Pretty unheard of.
We said we wanted to see Kazna go that step further, and I think we're starting to see it in effect here. That was a beautifully played out game. I think if you want to learn how to attack on Ruinberg, ignore what Virtus Pro did by just charging at that eastern village. Watch Kazna, because as you said, those two iterations of it, perfect adaptation, perfect read of the game, understanding where to put those resources and where to pressure. It's so impressive to watch. So watch that one back. Head over to YouTube / obviously WGLEU. It's all the same. We don't need to tell you all the time. I'm sure common sense will get you there. However, the switch of the side will come in. So it's now time for EPS to try and turn up on the attacking side. They can do it. There's nothing saying they can't. But the way Kazna look, it looks like they have an incentive. Let's put it that way. And they do. Obviously, the offline finals. So I feel as though this is Kazna's game now to lose, if anything. It feels like they've already got a good hold on the game. And it's now down to EPS to try and change that around, because Kazna's going to be on a nice plateau now going forward.
And EPS, I think they're the worst attacking team. I mean, typically EPS have been a defensive team throughout every single season, pretty much. I mean, the only time I really remember EPS being offensive was when they played like Red Rush ages ago in like the Go Fours, when they literally had to go offensive on maps like Arctic region to catch them out. Otherwise, it just simply couldn't win. But having said that, Kazan crew, the only time they really lose on this map on Ruinberg is when they play that defensive side, because they don't like it when they don't have that initiative. I mean, when you're attacking, you can kind of feel comfortable in the fact that you're making the first move most of the time. You can dictate the pace of the game, dictate where the other team's going to go, and really put your tanks in position where you want. It might not work, but at least you're doing it first. So let's see if Kazna can be comfortable in themselves and in their own skin and their own ability to defend. Also looking towards their lineup, I think the double T69 was a little bit of an error from EPS. I think something a little bit heavier, considering they're not moving, is probably the better way to go. Maybe even some more 5100s. And it looks like Kazna is taking that lesson and bringing it forward into the next game so far. 5100 played by German Brait, M41 played by Plowder, Hyber, and Elian in the 110s in the IS3. Interesting to see Elian in a heavy tank, actually, and Vetso in a 5100. I mean, typically Elian's definitely the 5100 player, so in a 110, clearly he's going to be put in a very important position, so look out for him in this map.
That's maybe almost a giveaway to a degree, but then again, how can EPS predict where he's going to be? It's quite interesting. We'll wait and see how that comes through. Seeing where they actually place him into that, and I can't agree more about those T69s. I am an adamant fan of that tank in play. I've always enjoyed its positioning. However, in that village against the 110, the IS3, or a 5100, it just got obliterated by absolutely every degree. I think we saw like 250 damage on it, pretty much.
It just can't penetrate those heavy tanks at close range.
It just doesn't seem viable.
No far range. It just can't penetrate them. Full stop. I mean, 50%. Probably like a 50% penetration ratio from the front, like probably even less from the side against IS3s. So you have to be getting from behind, or maybe in the side of the turret or the back of the turret, and even then it's a little bit dubious. So even if you have to deal with one IS3 in the T69, you're already at a bigger disadvantage. So I have to see how it works out. And for EPS, they've gone for something a little heavy as well. Double IS3, triple 5100, T37, and AMX 5100. 5100? 251.
I'm looking forward to it then. I actually like the way these lamps are starting to look. I like the way Kazna pick their tanks generally. I've always quite enjoyed how they spread it through the lineup, and it always kind of plays out well for them. But you guys at home, once again, hashtag WGLEU. Very simple, very easy on Twitter. Let us know how you feel that maybe Kazna's performing. That attacking side was absolutely spot on. Do you think that's going to continue throughout this game, or maybe it's now time for EPS to show what they've done? Have they done their homework, do you think, on the attacking side, or is this going to be a one-sided game? We'll have to wait and see. Teams are getting themselves locked in. Hopefully they'll get this one started soon. I think they just want to talk things through. Obviously, there's a lot going on for these guys, and it's a very important game, bearing in mind this could get Kazna back into that top 6, and it could get EPS on the track back towards it as well. So certainly something they need to do. So don't expect these guys to be taking this lightly. I think that's why TCM will be kicking themselves after that prior performance that we just saw. However, looking at Ruinberg, your final predictions on this one?
I'm loving Kazna crew right now. I'm really enjoying them. They're innovative. They're what I want to see from TCM. They're doing new things. They're trying new innovative tactics, and it's working out for them. And I think it comes from that breed of player which it has to try these things to win. I mean, these guys are fantastic in terms of player ability, but what wins them the games is their innovation, their intelligence, and you know, it's just amazing to see. But still, they have to go on the defensive side as we do head in game. Kazna crew obviously might start looking towards that A7 position, and despite EPS's advances, you know, EPS was all in that village. They still can hold them back. So let's see how that one works out. It does look like Kazna is a little bit more wary of that northern cap.
So here we go into this one. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to check out that scoreline to see if Kazna crew can really take this one further forward. 2-0 already, big scoreline. And a lot of pressure, but look at that damage towards Cobra Leon getting caught out drastically. Kazna taking a lot of damage there, but at least it's onto Cobra Leon rather than a heavier, more maybe important tank. However, as we said, in the northeast on the defending side, it'll be Kazna crew. In the western side, my brain's gone to absolute mess. It will be EPS.
I'll get you a
it's
compass.
very, very difficult. Never eat shredded
When's
wheat.
your birthday?
I don't even know. 26th
Numbers
of July. Yeah, it's all difficult. Anyway, I don't want to think about getting older. It gets me to that 25 marker, and it just feels like I'm an adult then. You know what I mean? It's horrible.
I think 21, over 21.
I'm dead.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not. I can drink in America. That's gone. That novelty's gone away.
There's no more excitement ahead, is there?
Exactly. It's
There's
just
nothing.
like everything's legal. This is boring.
Exactly. Anyway, into the tanks. What do you make of it so far? We've seen the kind of starting positions come through. How are Kazna setting up? Because we said Elian will be a very important part in this.
Yeah, Elian's obviously roaming on his own in that 110. I mean, the 110 is that tank where you can kind of roam because you get yourself in an awkward position. You got the armor to deal with it. And Kaz was predicting that, Evil Panda Squad will rotate with the IS-3s up north, which they are, despite the fact that they did spend a lot of time down south. But I still can't help but feel that if Kazna crew don't be careful and don't get those heavy tanks into a good position, Evil Panda Squad can simply start capping. I mean, once they do get them into the middle or down to the right side, yes, they won't be able to cap anymore, but they've already started, and this might be just in time to stop Kazna from resetting.
Let's see if it is. As we said, important positioning from Elian, but maybe putting too much pressure onto just one person's position may keep you a little bit blindsided almost by anything else coming out here. So an interesting split though. Slowing down the cap a little bit by EPS, retracting back towards the city. But already we're seeing EPS losing out on HP here. That could be a problem.
Yeah, brilliant play now by Kazna crew. They did just about get in time into those positions. And look at the damage heading the way of Yankees. I'm surprised German Break doesn't just sit there and nail these heavy tanks that do head through. And you can see now pretty much 2k in favor of the Kazna crew boys. And also Palau on the IS-3 is going to be there. I mean, Polsved having a peek, and actually I think he might be in trouble. It's two versus the whole of EPS.
This is huge, and they've completely folded onto them. They saw where Kazna were, and they're going to try and make up for their mistakes here and going to play in towards Ruster and Paluda. Can these two do what Virtus Pro did to others by just taking the bait, taking them down? Now Hyber trying to push up. Ruster's going very low though. Minimal damage done, but he's just about going to go down now. Finally, is Polsved and Bananek picking up one each, but Hyber comes back in, finds Bananek. Hyber though, putting himself in a dire position. He could go down as well, sacrificing himself for very little. And look at this HP though, still quite even.
Still quite even, but the fact that 3 tanks have gone down for Kazna crew makes it extraordinarily hard for them to get into this game. As you said, Hyber definitely sacrificed himself. German Brait will also fall now, and I don't see a way of Kazna crew getting into this game. They don't have such a big HP deficit, but in terms of gun in the game ability, It's certainly an Evil Panda Squad's side, but Yankees does fall, but Raging Pieto responds with on to Cobrion.
Maybe Kazna giving away too much of the game, showing the hand a little early. And it was just EPS taking that hand and just absolutely ripping it apart. Elian, they're just taking shell after shell now. This is becoming a bit of a bloodbath here. Great player, but against 4 tanks, there's minimal you can do. The 5100 trying to cross him off, but I think he knows this one's pretty much over and done with. He does take one down on the way, but now it's just Vetso left alive. 1v4, and he's been spotted.
He's dead. He's gone. There's no way he can stay in this game now. In those bushes, no double bushes, so he will have to try and reverse. I don't know. I'll be surprised if he gets out of this one alive. Okay, he does.
Wow.
All right, fair enough. But more mistakes from Evil Panda Squad than anything else as they do start the cap. Vetso still spotted, so the cross shot could come, but never give up. Doesn't hit that shell. Yeah, fluffing it, basically.
Yep.
But that's the thing, you know, Cancer Crew show brilliance on the attacking side, and then on the defensive side, when Evil Panda Squad gets to make that first move, basically, the first decisive move, it doesn't go so well. And, well, thanks to some god-awful shooting by Evil Panda Squad, they are still in this game.
But I don't know if he can actually make it round here in time, and I think he knows that. This one might be a little bit too far away. 20 seconds to get there. Bearing in mind they could still put another in the cap circle. They're sending that 2-5-1 after him. I think Vetso knows that his chances are pretty slim in this one. Might be able to catch Never Give Up, but that will not get him in for the win here. And Kazna Crew being so readable, being so obvious in their play. Oh, beautiful shot by Never Give Up comes out, finally landing it and making it look good. And EPS picking that one up. Now, I've got to ask you the question. Kazna then made it so obvious where they were that really, if EPS didn't make that play, it would have been a travesty more than anything. Why were Kazna so, almost tunnel visioned into that then, do you think?
I don't think they expected EPS to be so quick, and I also think they expected that AMX 5100 to do more. I mean, Vetso had to rotate around, basically, to get into that position, but there was Ruster and German Bray, I think it was. No, Ruster and Palauder. They were trying to do as much damage as they could, but they were alone. It was 2 versus 5. There's just nothing they could do there. And then once Palauder went down, because Ruster's kind of away from Palauder, they couldn't really focus fire. Yes, Banane takes a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, 2 guns out of the game, and then Hyber just YOLOing into the middle, trying to get there in time, misses the window of opportunity of about 30 seconds and dies. I mean, to be fair, until Hyber dies, they could have still won it. But he dies, and that's 3 tanks out, and even 2 would have been bad, but 3 is just disastrous.
Yeah, a little bit too much to kind of work your way back on, because the HP was quite even, as we mentioned. It was
still in favour of Kazna.
Yeah, it was. So you could have imagined, I guess, that 2-5-1 being in play made it kind of slightly more in Kazna's favour. But still, it's just a little bit curious to see that basically EPS did what Kazna did to them in battle number 2 or round number 2. In a way, they read their weaknesses and they went for the clean over match. However, I want to see how Kazna play this. I feel that maybe Kazna shouldn't have gone for the out there tactic in the first round on the second half, really. It should have been maybe that second round. Get that solid one in the bag, play it standard, and then come out with a surprise.
Yeah.
Because now, I think, if they pick the same tanks, EPS will expect the same thing.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, the simple fact was that the ZMX 5100 and the IS-3 weren't the right tanks. They should have been something quicker. I mean, you can still have that presence in the Eastern Village without picking heavy tanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not a T69.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the problem is it's very hard to run away from that situation, but you can. I mean, there's just no way you can get out there in an IS-3 or an AMX 5100. But if you have an AMX 3090, you can run out, and you can still get those cross shots on. But then again, I don't think they really expected the Hyber to do what he did. But yeah, it looks like EPS are getting back into this game. Lineups are going to stay the same from Kazna Crew. I mean, full heavy lineups at the end of the day. And only 3 2-5-1s from EPS is the difference.
Where's Polsved playing?
T37.
Huh. Have we seen it on this map yet?
Yeah, we saw it loads of times. I mean, it's not particularly used a lot, but it's like the go-to tier 6 light tank if you want to pick, if you don't want to pick like a double bulldog or whatever. I mean, clearly these guys are like, okay, so I mean, Bulldog, we already saw how much it struggled to penetrate the heavy tanks. Tier 37 is fast enough, and let's just use the extra tier 8 for an IS3 or something like that. I mean, at the beginning, we saw like Tigers and stuff on this map. So the double tier 7s, they kind of wanted more heavy tanks, so they chose the Tigers, and the rest of them could be 251s, AMX 3090s, or whatever you would like. But yeah, I think Kazna now has to knuckle down. Clearly, they lost that game for themselves. Didn't really have to do what they did. Their overmatch with the 3 heavy tanks could allow them just to push through the Eastern Village and win anyway. They have to do that clever tactic coming from behind. So, it comes with the pluses and the minuses. But, yeah, Kazna, I think they might just be able to do this one now.
Yeah, sorry for the wait, guys. They just wanted to get themselves ready. Lock in that final couple of tanks. Make sure they are prepared for the final round here on the first map between these two. And your prediction, if you could say it, because obviously, like...
Kazna, I think.
If Kazna go to the Western City, do you still agree?
Well, I hope they've learned from their first round and they will be able to do something more with it. There's actually some rocks along the 0 line, which I can kind of see the IS3s kind of side scraping or mouse tricking, whatever you like to call it, to a point where the rest of the Kazna crew tanks can actually make the shots on the side against the advancing EPS guys. So see how that one works out, see if they actually do that one. We can actually hop in game as these two teams get underway. At the moment, still leading is the Serbian team Kazna crew. I say Serbian, but they got German Brait, which is clearly a German. Elian, who's Polish, and Ruster is also German. It's a mix of players, but it doesn't really matter. Has to see Cobrion going offensive again. It looks like a similar start from Kazna crew. This time, Hyber sitting in the middle, so he is there to cross off, and there is actually a fountain in the middle where he can make the shots onto EPS. EPS, the same start, 3 heavy tanks in the Western Village, the fast tanks heading up the right side, not quite as aggressively as last time, maybe expecting Kazna crew to do the same so they can get the shots in the side.
Yeah, and just to keep you informed, obviously, in the south, it's EPS on the attack and Kazna on the defense. I don't think we need to say it again, but just in case you're just joining us, to reiterate. Now, 2-1, Kazna picking up 2 rounds back-to-back, and now we're seeing the turnaround. And do you think EPS are just kind of writing off the fact that maybe Kazna could have gone to the city first of all, and they're going to maybe work around it and rotate back?
I think they're expecting Kazna crew to be in the city. They're kind of expecting that Kazna has like a few heavy tanks there, and they're going to completely overmatch them with a lot of their own tanks and catch them by surprise. But what they'll find is a poor little T-37 Cobrion and a lot of information for Kazna, and I'll be very surprised if Kazna don't react and get themselves into good positions to deal with this push, as EPS have put themselves in a dangerous position.
Well, a fantastic amount of information gathered by Cobrion, I guess. It's if you're going to use a tank, you might as well put him there. I feel, out of the entire lineup of Kazna. So, all in all, how do you think the best way to respond to this is for Kazna? Is it push up maybe towards that EF line, get somewhere ready to watch the rotate? Because we're going to put it this way, Cobrion was always going to go down then, or do you prepare for that northern cap?
Just get more map control. Make sure that eastern cap, southern cap, whatever you like to call it, is secure. Get the Eastern Village. You can buy yourself some time at the end of the day. Keep those 5100 Ruster, keep the 110 there, so it can actually stop the cap if they do go forwards, but basically cross off the map. You can just single in the whole of EPS into one position, and if they want to get out, fair enough, but they're going to have to take the damage. You can see Hyber is basically surrounding on his own the whole of EPS, and the 2 tanks behind will be able to provide some good covering fire, of course. That's if they do hit, and it's dangerous times for the EPS side.
Hyber there, it makes me nervous when they start peeking out that much, and Hyber, fantastic in this tank, though. That tank can take it.
Yeah, the tank can take it. I mean, it's in a great position. This is the wonder position for the IS3. Those 3-2-5-1s have a low enough figure that they can just get out of there and not be spotted because of the curvature of the map. But the IS3s and the 5100 will certainly struggle more, and they'll probably will be spotted. Of course, the camera ratios come into effect as well, but to be honest, it's going to be 4 versus 3 in the village. Yes, Kazna have the extras, have the heavy tanks, but if they catch them by surprise, the amount of damage in a short amount of time could be disastrous, but Pelauda is expecting it.
Let's see how well he's expecting this. He's in the right position, as you said, in the right place. Maybe Kazna have read this game again very well. He's looking in the right direction. He's going to spot out, I think, Lucis.
He's been spotted, that's why
he has been spotted, indeed. It's the other way around. Never Give Up does get a 1, but the backup is certainly in place. And bear in mind, Hyber is still holding that flank there. He's still holding off the 5100s and the IS3s, but Kazna taking a little, but giving even more. Catch Me goes down, and EPS down on HP.
And Hyber is also spotting Yankees and Lucas Yasti up
Beautiful.
north. So Kazna have got everything perfect right now. They just have to relax. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Pilauda and Elian will basically be able to solo these 2-2-5-1s as they do push around.
If Kazna pull this off, if they hold the line, they've read the situation so well. Polsved does get caught there, but Elian goes out on a limb here. 2v1, Elian, dangerous play in that 110, gonna find a shot towards Bananek, but from the side, I'm not sure if I like this aggression from him. Maybe trying to get these two down before they can fold towards Hyber. Maybe trying to buy time, but he's not gonna get it. Surely not gonna be able to do much here. Vetso will take down Polsved. So still, at least for now, in the hands of Kazna, but Ruster going very low here in the 5100, and somehow Hyber's staying alive and waiting for that shell to become available. I think Lucas will have a shell just before him, takes him out. Lucas going to claim it and bring this one back a little closer, but surely Kazna can still hold on here.
It's a little bit sloppy from Kazna crew right now. They're going here, there, everywhere, expecting to win the round. Ruster put himself in the middle of the map on reload. If he gets spotted, he could go down. He is spotted. Raging Potato will find him with a brilliant cross shot, and that's going to put EPS back into this game quite firmly into their favor. But Elian has found Yankees and brought him down to a little amount of HP. Pilauda still up into the northern spawn, and I think Elian, being there, he could go down.
Yeah, he certainly can. 3 tanks now remain for Kazna. This could be a 2-2 if it keeps going this way, but the HP is so drastically different, and time is obviously against EPS, but Yankees putting in work, but goes down. That's a 2-man pickup there for Kazna, bringing it back to a 3v3. Paluda, German Break, and Vetso still alive. I don't know what EPS can do here. They're on the attacking side. It's so difficult now to get into this.
Lucas Yasti's Amarak also goes down. Ooh, and he just receives an unnecessary shell there. Brings him down to a one-shot. That's a big deal. And thanks to Kazna Crew's superior positions, I mean, clearly EPS is on the lower ground. Kazna Crew's got the higher ground. They are now winning this game. 2.3k HP to 946. That's a big advantage, and Raging Potato caught out in the middle. Track does use a repair kit, but Vetso has no problem picking him up.
2k damage, just not enough here. EPS down to 560 HP, 2k for Kazna Crew. Big disparity here, never give up, hits one on the run, but that 251's going to get shredded if he goes towards either Vetso or German Braid. Vetso's going to claim it, and now Lucas, last man standing. Surely going to be a 3-1 scoreline now, as Kazna looking just so well formed throughout this game. But Lucas finding a great shot there. Picks up Vetso.
Nice shot. I think that was actually a blind shot. Not sure, but
been a hard one to spot, I guess.
Good play by Lucas Yasti, the team captain for Evil Panda Squad. It's going to run, but there's nowhere to hide as he makes that shell. But Pilauda fluffs the shot a little bit there, and probably will leave German Brait to clean up. Finally, does hit it. So 3-1 to Kazna Crew on Ruinberg. Big
scoreline. Once again, coming out, I think I maybe put too much faith into EPS after watching round 3. I was like, that's pretty well done. But then Kazna, once again, can you just take me through the highs and lows of that game? Because it seemed to go back and forward for a while, but Kazna always somehow maintained at least the HP advantage. I don't know how they always seem to keep that.
Yeah, I mean, EPS gambled on the fact that Kazna Crew would do the same thing twice. I mean, it's fair enough of a gamble because on that first round, they did the same thing twice on the attack. So EPS was like, okay, let's try and catch these heavy tanks by surprise. So they put all the tanks there. They didn't only find Kovarin in the T-37. And then what happened is that Hybe went in the middle, crossed them off. And to be fair, it should have been a lot more one-sided because Kazna Crew had EPS into one position. They had the better positions. But then it went kind of bad. I mean, Hybe was left unsupported for too long. Elian was just driving all over the place.
Why did Elian push out so much? Was it try to help him? Or
I just think he had... This is the problem. I mean, you're winning a game quite significantly, and then you just throw it because you think you're winning more than you are, and the other team is obviously of certain quality that they can come back from. I mean, it's all happened to us before. EPS just playing well and clearly showing that they're a good team, but Kazna just about hanging on for a win, and those higher ground positions winning in the end. But Prokhorovka up next. Going to be an interesting round, a completely different change of pace compared to Ruinberg.
Is there any team you'd favour on this? I think overall the Kazna does certainly have the upper hand, but is this a map we might see something coming out of the bag for maybe EPS?
Oh, this is Kazna's pick actually.
Okay.
Last game they played against on Prokhorovka was against DTQ. 3-4 win. Their loss was on attack. And then for EPS, it was a 2-4, and they kind of won an attack, lost an attack. It was like a back and forwards between them and Utopia, their Polish counterparts. So I don't know. For me, I would go for Kazna crew. I'm going to see if they're going to pick artillery. They've got a few options for that. Palauda can
certainly.
pick that up. Coburn can pick that up. But still, I think they're going to go for the more kind of dynamic tanks. I wouldn't really have a proper artillery player in that team, to be honest. I think they might even need to start to look
Looking
towards, for sure. I mean, that's actually, I'm talking rubbish. They had Dr. Tour. They added Dr. Tour last round.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like thinking like, yeah, Kazna crew do have a massive weakness. Oh yeah, they got Dr. Tour last match day, so that's my bad. And to be fair,
he's not always been in this lineup kind of heading up. So you don't classically think Dr. Tour with Kazna. You don't just like put the two together there. So
yeah, and
I'll accept the mistake. Don't worry. We'll forgive you.
He's a volatile character anyway. So
we like to forget him.
Yeah. Some interesting stories with him, but I mean, he does do the job, and he did a good job against DTQ. I mean,
Definitely
early damage against the T-32 gave Kazna crew one of the rounds, I think, on there on the defense or on the attack, maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure.
So, a lot of things to look forward to here coming up into the next map. But before we do that, a 3-1 scoreline. You guys at home were obviously talking about how close the votes were, but slightly in favour to some. But Melly, how's the votes looking right now? It's 3-1.
Well, it's 86% for Kazna crew, just like it started out. So the votes have been very solid. Nothing changed throughout the first map. Sure, some ups and downs, but at the end, it's still the same result, just like in the beginning. And if I look at my Twitter feed, it's like, go Evil Panda Squad, go Kazna crew, go Evil Panda Squad. So both, as you said earlier, huge community favorites, very favored from the people at home, friendly teams, seen on offline finals, and huge names, of course. So people, I don't know why so many people tweet about Evil Panda Squads, but so few actually vote for them. So you still have time. We'll be heading into to small break. Small
and short together.
Perfect. And into a smart break. Let's stick with that. We'll be back after 5 minutes. In that time, you can vote. You can follow us on every platform. You can find the links right beneath the Twitch channel, and of course, follow us on Twitch as well. And we'll be back in 5.
Welcome back to the WGLEU. We are getting quite close to the end of this match week. However, we still have possibly 2 more maps to go. By the way it's going, it's probably going to be one. Kazna up against EPS. So far, it's been a little one-sided.
Yeah, Kazna crew seem to be on form at this point. Only one small mistake, an error of reading the situation has cost them only 1 round, 3-1 going into our next match, Prokhorovka. And it's a hard thing to say.
It is actually really hard.
I actually spent two years learning how to write Prokhorovka, and it was a eureka moment when I finally know where that K and that H went, because it's damn hard. But it's going to be an interesting match. I mean, clearly Kazna have been better coordinated even on those city maps, so I think it's going to be even more astonishing here on an open map Prokhorovka. And history would tell us as well that Kazna are a better team on Prokhorovka. Only in 754, I mean, we'll ignore 742 with Kazna crew, but well, they should be all right here.
I guess we are straight into game this time. The teams were chomping at the bit to get underway. We will be seeing the artillery in play. That M44 will be put to practice by Dr. Tuap. And let's see how this one goes down. Kazna with a substantially heavier lineup as well. I like the way whenever they get artillery, they complement it with a good amount of HP. However, EPS on the attack looking quite aggressive.
Yeah, they're going straight forwards. They want to try and take advantage of the fact that artillery might be getting into positions at the beginning. It's still moving. They are just going to go straight in.
This is insane from them. Yankees already going down, though. Not the best of starts. Paludo, though, taking a bit of a pounding, but Lucas finds Elian, so evening it up 1-1. Yankees, however, does get a bit of an advantage in this by going down, by having such a little HP overall. Hyber, though, surrounded. Can't do much here. That T-32 can certainly soak it up, but not against 6 tanks. And look at this bloodbath. Kazna being ripped to shreds.
That was a similar situation as a DRL Utopia we saw earlier, where Utopia just pushing against DRL, and they had those close quarter engagements and won simply on the overmatch. And now I don't see how this is going to work. Dr. Tua doing good work as he finds one shell. This guy has been fantastic, hitting about 600 to 900 damage every time he's played that tank on Prokhorovka. So good work by him, and I think Kazna can still do this. They will find the first one.
They're holding on, and not even by like a small amount. Dr. Tua still doing damage. Good work on the cross coming out from the 1390, but Vetso is going to go low. Surely this will start to even up. There we go. Dr. Tua does go down. And now this should be where Kazna lose out, but they're still holding on. They still have an advantage until Vetso just fell, leaving just Ruster and German Bray alive. But Ruster not going down without a fight, going to be kicking and screaming as Never Give Up comes in towards the situation. Ruster gets rammed, gets hit, down to so little HP now, 297, but German Braid's still alive. This is possible.
I don't know what German Braid's doing. I mean, he should be going in and killing Bananic. It's just so bad from him. 451 damage is terrible. I mean, he could have killed Catch Me, he could have killed Bananic, he could have killed Never Give Up, but once again, a tank out of position and you lose.
Oh, does he make it across? No, he gets dragged, gets underway, but Catch Me will have reload. Surely this will be over and done with. Catch Me waits for one more shell to come available, and German Braid is out of luck. Catch Me takes him down, and it looked like Kazna could have had that one, and you seem frustrated with that.
I was really frustrated. I mean, German Bray in an AMX 3090 sniping, I mean, it's just that bad. 6 shots, you hit a couple of them, maybe a couple of bounce. I mean, you got 245 penetration, like 0.3 accuracy. You're not going to be particularly good at range. Long aiming time, also, just bad. I mean, really bad. He did 409. He did 451 damage, and that's what frustrated me, is the fact that Rusted did such a good job. Vetso trying to stay alive all they can. They're playing really, really hard.
Dr. Tua even hitting such a close range shot.
Exactly, and they're bringing the game back in, and then I see German Bray on a flank kind of sniping away, and I'm just like, dude, if you're in that situation, I mean, Bananic was on like 50 HP. He should have gone down.
Yep.
As soon as you saw EPS go up towards those tanks, German Bray should have been right behind them, taking down Bananic, taking down Muka, and then moving on to, not Muka, Catch Me, and then moving on to the rest of them. I mean, yes, it would have been a hard struggle to kill Never Give Up after that, but then you at least have a chance.
Maybe some player errors there holding back Kazna, but a very decisive start from EPS into this one, making the most of seeing the artillery in play, going straight at it, not messing around, just going to go straight for the kill. And it kind of worked. Obviously, player error on Kazna's side may have made it easier, but certainly EPS took the initiative and went for it, so a good beginning for them. Getting them back in the runnings here at a 3-2, rather than that kind of decisive 3-1 scoreline, it looks a little bit more manageable. However, hopefully Kazna learn from their mistakes, and will they be keeping artillery in play, do you think?
I think they will do. You know, I'm surprised that they actually lost that. I mean, not just because of German Bray, but the thing is, if they'd watched that DRL TCM, DRL Utopia game, then they would have kind of seen that it's not so easy to camp in that top left corner when a team decides to push in, especially when you're using artillery. And it's kind of like you got to watch the other teams to learn these lessons. And see if Kazna crew do change things up. But it wasn't exactly finesse playing for an EPS as well. Nothing particularly spectacular. So I expect Kazna to try and, outbrain them in this situation. But yeah, good play by EPS. Some of them hitting over 2K, 2 of them hitting over 2K. And good stuff from them all around. Now, lineups are pretty much the same. Hyber playing that T32, 3251s and AMX 3090. Palauda, though, in the T69 again. M44 by Dr. Tour. And it's just going to be the same twice. And I'm wondering if Kazna is going to go towards that left side. I mean, I expect they do because the T32 and the T69 can only really go there. I mean, of course, they can go up the right side and kind of stay in the middle area a little bit more. But you can get flanked, and also the southern side can also get to the middle a little bit quicker. So it's plus and minuses, but I would expect Kazna to do something similar.
Well, I want to see what Kazna do now, because they know how EPS want to respond to that artillery in play. I can almost see their counter of the counter almost, and see how they, mentally work it out. But a lot on the line still for these two, just taking things through there and just taking their time a little to just lock everything in, make sure it's in play. And what do you make of this one? If you're going to put money on it, where's it going?
I thought EPS just looked on point there. They for the first time, they had an idea. They knew what they had to do to counter Kazna crew, and it's dangerous stuff. And I don't know. I think EPS is looking good.
I hope they keep it up. That's the thing for me. It seems like it's sometimes black and white with them. They change on a dime. I think it's down to Kazna now. It's their turn to respond. Let's see what they have in store. The teams are in the server. They're looking like they're ready. Hopefully this one does get underway nice and smoothly. Kazna need to make an impact on this map. Otherwise, the EPS might start kind of whittling away at their chances to really get towards those offline files. So guys, let's start getting into the server and getting this game rolling in map number 2 in battle number 6 here. 3-2 is your scoreline, and in the north, once again on defense will be Kazna. In the south, on attack, it's EPS, and something very different again.
Yeah, so clearly Evil Panda Squad and Kazna crew are thinking, okay, so that tactic, from our side at least, was a one-trick pony, and it's not going to work twice, which is kind of the same thing as a one-trick pony, but still... They obviously gambling on that fact, and that's why Kazna crew have gone towards the left side twice and expecting EPS just to do something else, which they have done, and it's going in all the cap. And this is what EPS does when they are at disadvantage. They do these knee-jerk reactions. They're like DRL. They just go for something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And they have nothing to lose. But I'll be surprised if this actually works out from this time. You can see the MX 3090 immediately starting to get up there. A little bit of damage heading towards Palauda, but as soon as they do, they're going to be able to spot for Dr. Tour, and he's going to be able to get the reset.
Well, let's see if he can. It's very important that he does. So keep your eyes on that Overwatch camera down towards that bottom left. It's important he gets these shots coming in. They're actually pushing out of the cap circle, looking for the challenge, and they might just find it. HP very equal, but look at Palauda, going to be surprised maybe by Never Give Up, and Bananek backing away cautiously as the cap once again will be started, but a lot more cautiously as Yankees just rolled through. But this just seems like, roll together, everyone goes through. Because that 1390 lagging down at the bottom there could be caught out so easily by a 251 on the T32. But look at this fold. Straight over we go. They're not messing around. German Break getting beaten to pieces and broken up and goes down. Polsved is sacrificed, but that's a good one-for-one pickup there. And it looks like it could fall onto Palauda. They've done just that, but Vetso and Elian still maybe in a position to do something. And let's hope that T32 and that 251 in the middle of the map have a clean pickup here, because they certainly need it.
Yeah, at the moment, Evil Panda Squad just want to go for these engagements. They want to try and mitigate Dr. Tour as much as possible. And to be honest, they're doing a good job now. But Kazna are responding with some of their own damage, and they have got the better position. They just don't have more HP and more tanks.
This is just going very badly for Kazna. EPS just kind of throwing aside tactics and just going at them. And Elian left on nothing goes down as just now Hyber left alive. 1v5. Does pick up one, and that T32 can be a bit of a beast in these situations. But I don't know if he even has the damage really to take the other guys down. No,
I don't see how he can do this. They just have to be a pack of walls and surround this T32. They are going to struggle to kill it for sure. And Bananek can catch me might fall. He does find one there, but doesn't manage to take it down. That'll be Never Give Up's chance to move around. Probably load that HE ammo to take this T32, but Hyber's not being distracted. Kind of duking him out.
And Hyber, gets set on fire. This is gonna go badly, and EPS are back in it, ladies and gents. 3-3 is the scoreline, picking up a decisive victory with just aggression.
V-Pro style.
Literally was just absolutely sheer aggression. Then started out on the west side push, started in the south, just head up the 1 to kind of, let's say, 4 line as a collective unit, smash them down. All right, round number 2 going into it. Go to the other side of the map, get the cap started, and then just commit. And really, it worked.
Yeah, those 2-5-1s were spectacular in that map. That's the thing. I mean, you have so much damage potential in those things that you really struggle to fight them off when it comes to those engagements. And the thing is, Kazna were playing too smart. EPS, pure stupidity in terms of tactics. There's not a single thing of IQ in there, but it doesn't matter. It's just doesn't... It's classic World of Tanks skills, and it's a tactic that's been used through the years from day one. If you don't know what to do and you want to counter artillery, just rush in and go for it. And you will eventually cut up the other team, and that's why they won it. They cut up Kazna crew. They found German Brait, and then they found Pilauda. I mean, at the beginning, it went Kazna crew's way, but the thing is, it was Vetzo and Ruster behind those rocks, and they were cut up. It's like the next to be cut up, and then it was like Hyber left at the end, and then of course Dr. Tur went down on an M44. So when you push in, you overmatch the team, and you put them into weird situations.
As you said, it wasn't the smartest play. There was nothing tactically brilliant about it. It was just, it was to a point. You're going to overmatch, as you said, and keeping the artillery in play didn't really work out in that second round, or second time around for asking, sadly. I don't think he hit too much. He might have maybe got a little bit of damage done, maybe.
Yeah, he hit 2 shells, 786, but I don't even think
it's not even the biggest problem.
I don't think that's the biggest problem. I think Evil Panda Squad's just...
brute forcing
and basically not doing what Kazna crew is expecting, so they can't kind of train against it. That's simply what's working for them.
And let's be honest here, that's something that we don't see from EPS all that often. They're not a team that goes on these aggressive pushes. They're a team that used to be extraordinarily slow. I mean, they're a team that was known for their slow play, for their caution, for their camping almost. But this time they were like, all right, let's throw it out the window, get it going. And it caught them off guard. It's good to switch things up, but I feel that once it slows down the pace again, can they really compete with Kazna? I don't know.
Well, as soon as they slow down the pace, they'll lose. You could see EPS had to keep on moving. They wanted to move out of that cap. I mean, you're right. EPS isn't a team that goes on the offensive. This is the problem with EPS, right? They usually these aggressive moves by EPS go very badly. They're like DRL. Once they start losing, they just YOLO into situations and it goes badly. Yeah. And with New Multi-Show, the problem was New Multi-Show was never there. So they can never go in as a back. He was always at the back making those shells. And now they've got the whole team. They can all go in together and it works a little bit better. But I have to say it, as soon as Kazna crew does slow them down, it won't work. And, these tactics work up to a point, and then, it's kind of... It's a little bit dubious. We'll have to see, of course. I mean, it's cheese at the end of the day. Everyone knows what cheese is. And sometimes you have good cheese, sometimes you have bad cheese. But at the end of the day, it is just cheese. And, on the defensive side, this kind of tactic might not work so well.
And look at it. How many 2-5-1s can you get in a lineup?
Too many.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the thing.
Where?
Can they keep this going? Can they really keep doing this? Because look at this attack. Straight down the middle. They're just running at them. Absolute dumb aggression. But it might work out.
But I haven't spotted any of them. They just made a blind shell, and Yankees luckily didn't get spotted for his trouble. I think even maybe Kazna crew has popped in those... I don't know what they would pick. Probably like ventilation, or gun laying drive, or stabilizer instead of the coated optics, just so they can keep up with Evil Panda Squad's damage and not really go for the spots. So I have to see, of course. But EPS's initial aggression's been slowed down. Kazna crew has more HP. They got a T-32 in play. Alien also in that Pershing, so clearly they're going to try and go hull down, go for that left cap. With a T-32 in the Pershing, I don't really see how they can go for the right cap. Surprisingly enough, I mean, today it's all been about that right cap. Utopia's used it perfectly. And, Kazna clearly has other ideas.
I really do hope EPS don't win from doing this. I know that sounds terrible coming from the caster, but I don't like watching cheesy tactics.
We're human beings at the end of the day, and it's sometimes you don't like some things, and to be honest, I don't like cheese.
I just want to see these guys playing outstandingly, because I almost feel bad in a way for, excuse me, Kazna crew. If they lose like this, it's so frustrating, but then again, they should really know how to deal with it. Yeah. However, those 2-5-1s make a formidable side to deal with, and Kazna are going to have to be pretty smart about this one.
The game has slowed down. We got Catch Me in the 2-5-1 up north. He's the one who has to deal with the cap. But in my opinion right now, what's going to happen is that Kazna Crew is going to go in that northern cap. You can see all the tanks from Evil Panda Squad grouped up. As soon as the cap goes on the way, Evil Panda Squad are going to pick a direction and they're just going to go in for it. Probably going to go into the cap. It'll be a gamble because they will put themselves on the lower ground. The T-32 and the Pershings will be in a very good position to make shots from above. But Elian down to 567 because he had to try and crest over that hill. Does put Evil Panda Squad pretty much on the same amount of HP as Kazna Crew, which is not great when you consider they are playing pretty much all 251s.
Yeah, we'll see how this comes into effect. 4 minutes and we'll find out. I don't know if I like this or not from EPS, but it's working to a degree. That's the worrying factor, whether I like it or not. It's paying off. And if Kazna Crew can't find a way to deal with it, it's pretty much their own problem. They should be able to. Cheese only works to a degree, and then it starts to fall apart really in the strategy department.
It begins to melt.
Wow.
Degree heat,
Yeah, I get it. Okay. It's really
just checking.
Just. But still, if you're in Kaz's position, how do you get around this?
I would just go into the cap and try and cross everything off. Put the T-32 in the Pershings, try and get them hull down, and then force Evil Panda Squad to come at you. Yeah. But you have to do the initial damage. You have to do quite a lot of damage before they actually hit you with those 251s, and use a flank. You can see Hyber and Palauda towards the left. They'll be able to come down onto Evil Panda Squad. I mean, the problem right now is that EPS have been able to focus out Kazna Crew with a couple of tanks from Kazna Crew being out of position or being at sniping range. I mean, sniping's great and all, but everyone knows even in random battles, the guys that snipe are the guys that often lose you the game because they're not actually in the game. They're not providing their armor or their HP. Instead, they're sitting back and, they might be doing damage, but the other team's doing damage, plus they have armor, plus they have HP. It's just logic at the end of the day. And Bananik making a shell onto the side of Hyber did a little bit of damage, I believe, to the front of that tank, and Elian takes another one as he goes forwards.
To be fair, Kazna are taking a lot of damage getting to these positions. Okay, yeah, it's a Pershing. It's not the worst tank in the world to be taking damage on, but you kind of want to keep this in the game. It has to have that sustain. It becomes such a beast towards the later stages that's where you want it to be viable. However, Kazna keeping these numbers is going to make it a little bit harder work for EPS once they start making that push and play. Elian looking out for the push across the middle where 3 tanks currently are, but will he expect the 3 at the front as well?
That's the big question right now, but cap is severely going down now, and EPS is going to have to make a move. This time, they are split, so they can't all go in at the same time, but if they do manage to crest and get over, then it's going to be disastrous, because Kazna Crew is kind of all over the place as they do go in.
Well, it's game on time. Push does come out, and let's see if that 2-5-1 stack is going to pay off. 10 seconds on the cap. That will be stopped and restarted. However, it's the damage done and received. Off the back of it, Elian goes down. Cobra Leon takes a beating, and on the drive-by, these 2-5-1s are doing it, and EPS are pulling out the most disgraceful strategy, but it's kind of working. 3.8k left, 3.4 for Kazna, and Raging Potato still in this, just on the chase. Vetso being surrounded. Ruster and Paluda in the battle, but not so much in the south. Just sitting back, and they're out of the game at this point. And now 4 left standing for EPS against the 2 for Kazna. Yeah,
again, EPS, it's so obvious what they're going to do. It's not even funny, but it's working. Those 2-5-1s just absolutely on a roll, and the disgraceful cheese from EPS is, it's Stilton keeping them in the game. And didn't really work, that one. Stilton in the game? Nah, we'll leave that. Palauda, Ruster, though, on 100% HP. This is, again, the problem. Palauda and Ruster on 100% HP with the rest of the team dead. That's your problem.
Pretty much. And in a normal strategy, they'd be probably fine being back there, because you might see a rotate down the south. You may see a small, short push across the middle. However, when there's 4 or 5 tanks rolling at you with substantial health, it becomes a little bit harder to do that. However, Paluda with Ruster do find Polsved. And 3 tanks now remaining. Their escape plan has been kind of rustled here, let's say, as Ruster and Paluda will start moving in.
Paluda's going to have to reload, though. I mean, he's making random shots here, there, and everywhere unnecessarily. And he's only got 1 shell to make, so 240 damage, and I don't know how that one's going to work out.
Feel as though frustration may be a factor into this game now. Losing out a 3-1 advantage to tactics that certainly are a little under par at times, but Raging Potato does find the kill, and Paluda now 1v3. Surrounded, you said he'd have to reload, and he's stuck on it right now. It's the worst timing in the world. 16 seconds left, and we're going to be having EPS getting onto match point. Not what I expected to say, but the strategy they're coming out with, it may not be pretty and it may not be nice, but it's working, and Bananek just surrounds him, takes him down. And EPS go on to match point. 4-3. Kazna must be furious.
They must be just so frustrated by that tactic, because all that training and all that work, and then EPS just YOLOing in. That's not great.
Yeah, the thing is, it works. That's the thing.
It works.
You can kind of knock it, I guess, but I don't know what to say really. That it's like, how can you do an analysis on that? They picked one tank and all rushed at them.
No, you can't do analysis.
It's
on
like
that.
the lemming train that works.
My sister could do analysis on that. Seriously.
Should we call her up?
She's probably a better caster than me, so
I
it's
would
all
never
good.
know. Just give her a call. Like, what'd you make of tanks? Brother's got a tattoo of one. That's
True.
it.
Not really what a set voice sounds like, but
No.
I'll give you that.
All right. I'm sorry, my impression wasn't great. I'll work on it next time.
Voice, my sister. She's not the Grinch. She's the Hulk.
Oh, she's related
The
to
Hulk-
you.
the
I don't
Hulk-
know, man.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Hulk turns up just like sup. No,
back to the
my brother
game.
actually plays well as tanks. He probably
Really?
could. Yeah.
You
I
reckon?
came home for Christmas.
Huh.
He's sitting on his laptop playing tanks. I'm just like, you what, mate? And then, like, he obviously knows what I do for a job, and he's just like, the whole 2 weeks at Christmas, Ollie, what's this tank good for? What should I do? I'm just
Jesus.
like, dude, I'm on my break.
Leave me alone. I want to just eat
wanna
Christmas cake
I want
and
to
watch
watch
TV.
Hollyoaks and Bravo without any kind of interruptions here. Jesus.
Oh, bless you. But still, one more round to go here.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of this, but Melly, how are the people out there in the world finding this right now? Because I don't know how the crowd responding to the cheesy tactics.
Well, at first they loved your quote. Cheese is cheese. Very wise words.
Mm-hmm.
And still, I mean, 3-1 in Kazna Crew's favor. Bamboo shortage isn't why pandas are dying out. It's Kazna Crew.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Well, not for much longer. I think they're having a bit of a comeback at this rate. It's
So, no exact quotes I could actually read out, but they're still going on about the pronunciation of Tür, and like the discussion we had
why
last
is that
time.
the one thing you pick out of? Like, EPS do like the cheesiest tactics, right? And the guys out in chat are like, oh, they're not saying tour right.
Well, you know that.
Sorry, that's probably like a sister's impression.
I mean,
so my bad.
I mean, they need 5 minutes to see it,
Oh, yeah,
actually.
whatever.
So
Oh,
she should
no.
better ask me in 5 minutes about what just happened in the game. So, EPS got something Asian in the nickname, but this gameplay reminds me on Japanese during World War II.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well,
I haven't read it before I was reading it out, and on the way on reading it out, I was like, I
Ooh.
don't know if it goes well. I don't know. Hopefully it won't say
it's out
something.
there. It's
okay.
out there now. It's happened. It's Gouda.
It's good.
Get it? See, that was a
Producer,
good
can
pun.
we
That
quickly
was a
show
good
my
pun.
screen, please? Maddie, please. Computer. It's
Takes
pretty
time,
good.
ladies and
It's
gents.
pretty
It takes
good.
time. I
No,
don't
no,
know
it's-
what's
it's
going
nothing bad. It's nothing bad. It's just a quote perfectly pictured.
on. It looks absolutely spot on. I'll be very honest with you.
Look.
Your quote is fantastic, Ollie.
So that's
very
our community. Thank you for sending us awesome
I'm
stuff.
glad the community appreciates
Cheese is cheese.
my lyrical
Genius.
awesomeness. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
It's pretty good.
Well, EPS are crackers about cheese. 1 point if you
Oh
get the
my God.
1 point if you get the
I
reference.
think the game is starting.
Yeah, let's get back to the game because I want to shut him up more than anything. So, could be the final round coming in. What the hell are EPS going to do now? I don't even know, to be honest with you, because I thought I kind of understood tanks, and now I don't, because it works really well if you play like a bad person. I was going to say a different word. And once again, we get the beautiful 2-5-1 stack coming out, and we're seeing it matched by more cheese.
This is the only way
literally
it's going to
terrible.
work. The question is it a double Gloucester or is it some sort of red Leicester? I'm more of a double Gloucester guy, but let's see
I
which
like
one
the Red
works.
Leicester, but here we go into the battle, and it's just going to be a straight out brawl. EPS being met with force because, well, you know, I guess it's the best you can do back to them, and actually they're losing out quite substantially for now. A little lower on HP. Raging Potato does go down. Ruster takes a little, but back and forward. Yankees from the backside taking fire from Cobra Leone. Elion on the flank around as well. German Break being the linchpin will fall, but at the moment it's just back and forward, 2 for 2.
Kazna crew, I think, are slightly ahead, though. They've got EPS surrounded, and I think they got a little bit more HP to play around with.
Oh, but Cobrion's out of the fight for a while here. It's down to Veto and Paluda. Cobrion can't really support from that position, and thankfully for them, EPS were on reload, but Catch Me comes up. Veto goes low. A ram would have taken him down, but they're waiting for shells to be available, and Polswed picks him up, and actually, the Cheese Kings of EPS look as though they might be able to do this because Cobrillon can't really do much from where he's at right now. Paluda being picked apart goes down, and I think EPS have just done enough here. Cobrillon, last man alive, gets some damage, but it's surely not going to be enough. Polsved in this one. Cobrillon fighting away, trying to cut through it all, but in the end of the day, it's one more shell surely going to come through, and it will be a disaster for Kazna as EPS pick it up. Don't call it a comeback, but dear God, that was unbelievably disgraceful to watch, but they won.
I'm not, Lauren. I'm not analyzing that. I'm sorry, analyzing. I'm not analyzing that.
There's nothing to say.
There's no point.
There's nothing to say.
There's no point.
It was a head-on kind of clash, and one team won, and it was EPS.
Yes.
I kind of feel bad for Kazna crew. All right, I'm gonna say it another way. Yes, they should have found a way around it. But my God, that's frustrating. A 3-1 scoreline, beautiful play. I mean, tactically genius
great,
on Ruinberg. The counter, the read into how they overmatched, it was stunning.
You can analyze this. I mean, it's like...
I'm going back to the first map. I mean, I'm ignoring the second one completely because that was just...
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. You guys at home, do your own analysis. Hashtag WGLEU because I don't think we can.
No.
You know?
I'm both... I don't know what to say about that. I mean, EPS is like that team which can pull out those kind of things. But at the same time, I feel very sorry for Kazna. At the end of the day, Kazna should have found a counter to that. They separated themselves too much. They shouldn't have lost that first round. I mean, German Bray, he must be kicking himself right now because he was out of the game for a bit too long. But let's be honest here. In this game, EPS walk away with a win. But you can't do that at finals.
No.
Because it won't work. I mean, it's good for this tactic, but it still shows, despite the result, like Kazna's crew is still a better all-round team. But when it comes to those 2-5-1s, there's nothing you can do. I mean, the damage those 2-5-1s were doing was just sick. You can use heat ammo when you just want to shoot a normal tank. You can use HE ammo to 320 damage when you shoot a light tank. It just pumping out the damage every 5.5 seconds, and simply had no answer for it from Kazna crew. But EPS, you're disgraceful. You're fired.
I don't know what to say. I think we're both in the same kind of boat here. That it's just, you know, what can you do? You know, in those situations, Kazna, it's time to maybe learn from those mistakes and try and find out something else to bring to the plate. However, the rankings will have changed quite drastically after the back of that, and as you can see now, Wusa and School Bus, joined by Utopia, GGL Play, Dynasty Gaming, and Virtus Pro are in the top 6. Just outside of that now is Kazna Crew, is TCM, and Evil Panda Squad. It's all changed just in today's playday.
Yeah, but TCM Gaming, they have their next game against Drooling Leprechauns. Kazna Crew has against Momentum.
They should win in theory.
I think both of them should win. So they kind of maintain that same point. School Bus, they have to fight against, at some point, GGL Play because we missed that game.
Yeah.
They've also got against Virtus Pro, and they've also got to go against TCM Gaming. So they got quite a few hard games as well. So to be honest, I'm quite liking those top 4, top 5s just to stay in those positions for the season.
It's certainly a possibility. But what a play day. It's changed everything in those rankings. Hopefully you guys at home did get involved earlier and actually let Melly know who you thought was going to end up in that top 6 and maybe got some predictions in because everything did change and it's a big play day to look back on. Maybe not that final map, but all the stuff before it. However, Melly, how did the people do that? Because that was a real turnaround. That was something you can't expect.
Absolutely, and the people didn't expect it. I still voted with 86% for Kazna Crew. And let me tell you something. The MVP vote for last match week, you know how it went?
No.
German Braid got the MVP.
Well, he's not getting it this week.
He's not getting it this week.
So congratulations, 100 euros of bonus prize money for you. So maybe helps you a bit over what happened today. Probably not, as I know you guys. And Yes, people, the next most valuable player voting will be up tomorrow afternoon after we sat together and decided who actually deserves to be nominated as one of the MVPs. And then it's your turn. You have to head over to Facebook and vote for your favorite player. And in the process of voting and finding the MVP, you can actually win something. 30 people amongst all participants in this challenge or contest or voting are rewarded with bonus codes. And yes, thank you for getting involved, even if you did 2 mistakes today, actually. So things are getting shaken up here. Besides, of course, following us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I don't know if we have an Instagram account yet,
No.
but if not, we're gonna make one so you can follow us there as well. And we had some great matches. The first match, Drooling Leprechauns versus Utopia, went to the decider. We saw the deciding map, Cliff, 5-4 in Utopia's favor. Then we saw, as a second match of the day, TCM versus Vuza. TCM got pretty much stumped by Vuza with a clear 5-0. And Kazna Crew versus EPS, the last match of tonight, the headliners. You just witnessed it, 5-3 in favor for Evil Panda Squad. So next match day will be next week on Monday, on the 26th of January, 6:30 p.m. CT. I hope you guys will be there. We will be. And, well, we wish you a good night, a great weekend, and don't forget to tweet us. See you on Monday.